Freeze-dried meals are marketed as the smart choice for emergency food storage, and the industry has convinced millions of preppers that paying $10 per pouch makes sense when the power goes out. The math tells a different story. When you break down cost per calorie, serving size games, and hidden expenses, most people never calculate those convenient pouches start looking less like preparedness and more like premium-priced camping food being sold as survival essentials. A one-year supply built on bulk staples costs around $170. The same time frame in freeze-dried meals runs $2,000 to $6,000. That is not a small difference, and it is not just about being cheap. It is about understanding what you are actually buying when companies slice serving sizes in half to make price tags look reasonable, and whether the convenience premium makes sense for storage that might sit untouched for decades. The serving size shell game. The first thing you notice when comparing emergency food is that nobody agrees on what a serving actually is. Pick up a freeze-dried pouch and check the label. Most brands list 250 calories as one serving. Some go as low as 200. Open a competing brand and the same meal might clock in at 370 calories per serving. That means their version gives you nearly double the food for what looks like a similar serving count. This is not an accident, and understanding why it happens explains half the price confusion in this industry. An adult male doing moderate physical work needs around 2,800 calories daily. Even a sedentary adult requires about 2,000. 3 meals per day means each one should deliver somewhere between 650 and 900 calories. A 250 calorie serving is less than a third of that, which means the 2-serving pouch you bought is actually one meal for one person, not 2 meals. Marketing works because it hides in plain sight. A bucket advertised as 400 servings sounds like it feeds a family for months. And at $2 per serving, the price looks reasonable. Multiply those servings by 250 calories, and you get 100,000 total calories, which is about 50 days of food for one person at 2,000 calories daily. That same bucket marketed honestly as a 50-day supply changes the entire value proposition. Legacy Food Storage calls this out directly in their own marketing. They advertise 370 calories per serving and point out that most competitors cut portions in half to advertise lower per serving costs. When you compare buckets by weight instead of serving count, the differences become obvious. A 30-pound bucket at 250 calories per serving delivers less total energy than a 25-pound bucket at 370 calories per serving. The fix is simple but tedious. Ignore serving counts entirely and calculate total calories per container, then divide by 2,000 to get actual daily rations. A 1,200 serving kit that sounds like it feeds a family for a year might only provide 6 months of realistic nutrition once you do the math. Cost per calorie, the only number that matters. Strip away the packaging and the marketing, and you are buying calories, protein, and shelf life. Everything else is noise. Freeze-dried meals from major brands cost between $7 and $15 per pouch. Mountain House, which dominates the market, charges about $11 for a 2-serving pouch that contains 560 calories total. That works out to roughly 50 calories per dollar. Peak Refuel runs closer to 30 calories per dollar. Backpacker's Pantry sits around 40 calories per dollar. Compare that to bulk staples. White rice costs between 35 cents and $1 per pound, depending on where you buy and how much you purchase at once. 1 pound of uncooked rice contains 1,648 calories. At the high end of $1 per pound, you are getting 1,648 calories per dollar. At 35 cents per pound, it jumps to over 4,000 calories per dollar. Dried pinto beans run 42 cents to $2 per pound. 1 pound delivers 1,568 calories. Even at the high end, that is 784 calories per dollar, and at bulk pricing, it climbs past 3,000 calories per dollar. The difference is not small. It is more than 30 times cheaper. A one-year food supply for one person requires roughly 730,000 calories if you target 2,000 per day. Using freeze-dried meals at 50 calories per dollar, that is $14,600. Using bulk rice and beans at an average of 2,000 calories per dollar, it drops to $365, and if you are buying true bulk quantities, the cost falls below $200. The actual numbers from tested one-year plans confirm this. 300 pounds of white rice at 35 cents per pound costs $105 and delivers 450,000 calories. 150 pounds of pinto beans at 42 cents per pound costs $63 and adds 210,000 calories. That's 660,000 calories for $168, which covers 330 days at 2,000 calories daily. The same time frame in freeze-dried pouches, assuming you can average 1,500 calories per $10 pouch, requires 487 pouches at a cost of $4,870. You're not paying for better nutrition or longer shelf life. You're paying for the convenience of not having to cook from scratch, and that convenience costs 28 times more. The shelf life myth everyone believes. One of the strongest selling points for freeze-dried meals is the 25 to 30-year shelf life, and the implication that bulk staples can't match that durability. Both claims need context. Mountain House officially guarantees 30 years, and they have tested actual products stored for that long to back it up. In 2016, the company raised its shelf life rating from 25 to 30 years after putting decades-old pouches through taste panels, and the food scored above average on standard industry scales. Some users report eating military ration pouches that sat in storage for over 40 years with no issues beyond minor texture changes. That's legitimate, and it is one of the few marketing claims that holds up under scrutiny. What most people don't realize is that white rice and dried beans match that timeline when stored correctly. White rice sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and kept in food-grade buckets lasts 25 to 30 years, according to research from Utah State University. Dried beans do the same. The key difference is oil content. Brown rice spoils within 6 to 12 months because the bran layer contains oils that go rancid. White rice, with that layer removed, stays stable for decades. Beans lose some of their ability to soften after many years, which means older beans take longer to cook, but they remain safe and nutritious. The solution is either extended cooking times or running them through a pressure cooker. The shelf life advantage disappears when you store bulk foods properly, which means the premium you pay for freeze-dried meals is not buying you more time. It is buying you packaging and pre-cooking, which matters if you expect to eat the food without a kitchen, but makes less sense if you are stocking a home pantry with a stove. The real question is not whether freeze-dried food lasts longer. It is whether the packaging convenience is worth 28 times the cost when both options sit in your basement for 3 decades either way. Hidden costs nobody calculates. The advertised price per pouch is not the full cost of eating freeze-dried meals, and the gaps add up faster than most people expect. Every freeze-dried meal requires water for rehydration. Most pouches need 1 to 2 cups, and Mountain House specifically calls for 1.25 cups per serving, which they list as 10% of your daily water allocation in an emergency. If you are relying on stored water and have limited reserves, that is 10% of your supply going toward food preparation instead of drinking or hygiene. Rice and beans also need water, and significantly more of it. Cooking 2 cups of rice requires 4 cups of water. Beans need even more depending on whether you pre-soak them. The difference is that rice and beans give you flexibility. You can cook with less water if you need to stretch reserves, Or you can cook larger batches to reduce fuel consumption per meal. Freeze-dried pouches come in fixed portions, so you are locked into the water measurement printed on the package. Then there is fuel. Freeze-dried meals technically only need hot water, and the rehydration process takes 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the brand. That sounds efficient until you realize you are boiling water for every single meal. And in an extended emergency where you are rationing propane or camp fuel, those 10-minute boil sessions add up. A basic rice and beans combo takes 25 minutes on a camp stove and consumes about 12% of a typical daily fuel budget, but you are usually cooking for multiple people or meals at once instead of boiling water individually per pouch. For bulk staples, the hidden cost is packaging. Food-grade buckets run $5 to $8 each. Mylar bags cost 50 cents to $1 depending on thickness and size. Oxygen absorbers are 10 to 15 cents a piece. A complete storage setup for a 1-year rice and bean supply might add another $50 to $75 to your total, which works out to about 50 cents per meal when calculated across 730 meals. Freeze-dried meals come pre-packaged, so there is no additional cost there. The question is whether saving $75 in packaging justifies spending an extra $4,700 on the food itself. The answer depends entirely on your situation. If you are building a bug-out bag where weight matters and you expect to be mobile, freeze-dried makes sense. If you are stocking a pantry at home where you have a stove and can afford to cook, the math flips hard toward bulk staples. Nutritional reality, rice, beans, and complete protein. The most common objection to bulk storage is that rice and beans sound boring, and there is no way you can survive long-term on such a limited diet. Both halves of that statement are partially true, but the conclusion is wrong. Rice and beans together form a complete protein, which means they provide all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. White rice is about 90% carbohydrates, and it offers 4.2 grams of protein per cooked cup. Dried beans are about 35% protein, and they deliver 15.4 grams per cooked cup. Billions of people across Central America, Asia, and parts of Africa have relied on rice and bean combinations as their primary calorie source for centuries. When you combine them, you get the amino acid profile your body needs without requiring meat, dairy, or other animal products. This is not theoretical. It is not optimal compared to a varied modern diet, but it is far from starvation rations. 2 cups of uncooked rice plus 1 cup of uncooked beans gives you nearly 2,000 calories and provides a solid protein base. Add basic seasonings like salt, pepper, garlic powder, and chili flakes, and you can create enough variation to prevent immediate taste fatigue. Throw in canned vegetables, pasta, oats, or dehydrated ingredients you rotate through your pantry, and the diet expands significantly. Freeze-dried meals advertise more variety, and on paper, that is accurate. You can buy beef stroganoff, chicken teriyaki, lasagna, and breakfast scrambles instead of eating rice and beans every day. The problem is that variety collapses under real-world conditions. A 15-day food test run by a United Kingdom survival group found that freeze-dried meals cause severe taste fatigue by day 5. Testers noted that despite different advertised flavors, the underlying texture and the sodium-heavy seasoning profile felt repetitive after multiple consecutive meals. Rice and beans, by contrast, held up better because testers could vary preparation methods and add different spices to create genuinely distinct dishes. The other factor most people miss is that freeze-dried meals are not nutritionally superior just because they cost more. They preserve 97% of the original food's nutrients, which is excellent, but rice and beans stored properly retain their full nutritional value as well. Freeze-dried vegetables and meats offer more micronutrient diversity, but you can achieve the same result by storing canned vegetables, multivitamins, or dehydrated produce alongside your bulk staples for a fraction of the cost. The nutritional argument for freeze-dried meals assumes you are eating them exclusively, which makes no sense for long-term storage anyway. A real pantry includes multiple categories of food. The question is whether paying a premium of 28 times for pre-cooked convenience meals makes sense when you can build a more diverse and affordable base using rice, beans, pasta, oats, canned goods, and other staples. When freeze-dried actually makes sense. None of this means freeze-dried meals are not a scam, or that they do not have a place in preparedness planning. Freeze-dried meals excel in specific scenarios where weight, space, and preparation time matter more than cost. If you are putting together a bug-out bag that you might need to carry on foot for days, freeze-dried pouches make perfect sense. They are lightweight, compact, and energy-dense compared to canned goods or fresh food. A 72-hour kit with 6 freeze-dried meals weighs less than 5 pounds and fits in a backpack side pocket. The equivalent calories in canned food would weigh 15 pounds and take up significantly more space. The same logic applies to vehicle kits, especially if you are limited on storage or live somewhere with extreme temperature swings that make canned food risky. Freeze-dried meals handle heat and cold better than most alternatives, and they will not burst or spoil if your car bakes in summer sun or freezes overnight in winter. For short-term emergencies where you need food immediately and do not have time to cook, freeze-dried meals offer speed and simplicity. Boil water, pour it into the pouch, wait 15 minutes, and you are eating. That beats spending 25 minutes cooking rice and beans when you are dealing with a power outage, an evacuation, or another high-stress situation where mental bandwidth is limited. The problem is when people treat freeze-dried meals as the foundation of long-term home storage instead of a supplement to bulk staples. A smart pantry layers different categories based on their strengths. Bulk rice, beans, pasta, and oats provide the calorie base at rock-bottom cost. Canned goods add variety, vegetables, and protein sources that do not require cooking. Freeze-dried meals fill the gap for convenience and portability, but they are not the backbone of the system. If your budget is tight and you are trying to build a year's worth of food storage, spending $5,000 on freeze-dried pouches means you are either going into debt or cutting corners elsewhere in your preparedness plan. That same $5,000 buys a year of bulk staples, a 3-month supply of canned goods, water filtration, a camping stove with spare fuel, and still leaves money for other gear. The math shifts if you have disposable income and genuinely do not care about cost. In that case, freeze-dried meals offer convenience and peace of mind, and the premium might feel worth it. But for the majority of people building storage on a limited budget, treating freeze-dried as the default option instead of a targeted supplement is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. The real cost comparison nobody shows you. Most freeze-dried meal reviews compare brands to each other and talk about taste, texture, and rehydration time. Almost none run the full cost analysis against bulk alternatives, and the few that do usually stop at 30-day comparisons instead of looking at a real 1-year supply. Here's what the numbers actually look like when you build both systems from scratch. 1-year freeze-dried supply. 487 pouches at $10 each, total $4,870. Assumes 1,500 calories per pouch, which is generous. Covers 365 days at 2,000 calories per day. Requires no additional packaging or storage equipment. 1-year bulk staples supply. 300 pounds of white rice at 35 cents per pound, $105. 150 pounds of pinto beans at 42 cents per pound, $63. 50 pounds of pasta at 60 cents per pound, $30. Packaging, mylar, buckets, and absorbers, $75. Total, $273. Covers 365 days at 2,000 calories per day, with room for variety. The freeze-dried option costs 17.8 times more than bulk staples. Now layer in a realistic hybrid approach where you use bulk staples as the base and supplement with freeze-dried for convenience. Hybrid 1-year supply. Bulk staples for 75% of calories, $205. Freeze-dried pouches for 25% of calories, $1,218. Canned goods. Rotation, $200. Total, $1,623. Covers 365 days at 2,000 calories per day with significantly more variety. That hybrid model still costs 6 times less than going full freeze-dried, and it gives you the best of both worlds. The savings are obvious. You have the shelf-stable bulk staples for long-term security, the freeze-dried pouches for quick meals and bug-out scenarios, and canned goods you can rotate through your regular diet to prevent waste. The numbers don't lie. Freeze-dried meals marketed as the smart prep choice lock you into premium pricing for a convenience feature you might never use. If the power goes out for 3 days, you are not worried about cooking rice. If it is out for 3 weeks, you will be glad you saved $4,000 and have a stove that still works. Freeze-dried meals are not a bad product. They are just wildly overpriced for what they deliver when the alternative is bulk staples that cost 30 times less and last just as long. The industry has built its marketing around convenience, shelf life, and serving counts. And those claims work because most people never run the actual math. A 250-calorie serving sounds reasonable until you calculate how many you need per day. A 30-year shelf life sounds impressive until you realize white rice and dried beans do the same thing for pennies per pound. A 400-serving bucket sounds like it feeds a family for months until you divide total calories by 2,000 and discover it is a 50-day supply. If you are building food storage and your budget is limited, start with bulk staples. Rice, beans, pasta, oats, and canned goods give you a year of calories for less than $300. Add freeze-dried meals where they make sense, for bug-out bags, vehicle kits, and quick prep scenarios, but do not make them the foundation. If you have money to burn and convenience matters more than cost, buy freeze-dried meals and do not look back. Just understand what you are paying for. You are not buying better nutrition or longer shelf life. You are buying pre-cooked food in a pouch that rehydrates in 15 minutes, and that is worth $4,000 extra to some people and absolutely insane to others. The math is the math. Whether it is worth it depends on your priorities, but at least now you know what the actual numbers look like when nobody is playing serving size games or hiding water and fuel costs in the fine print.